Hello everyone, welcome to the Planecious Leaders Walk the Talk. I am Rohit Korat, the founder of the Planecious Leaders series, where we celebrate the inspiring leaders who are contributing positive change towards a more sustainable future. Today we have with us Gediz Gaia, who is a founder and managing partner of Gaia Climate, a consultancy specializing in climate finance and risk management. With over 15 years of experience, she has advised clients on climate risk management, carbon asset development, and sustainable energy investments. Her background includes role in investment banking and environmental finance with position at the World Bank and HSBC. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. So let's get started. Let's engage in thoughtful dialogue and conversation on sustainability. So, what inspired you to transition from investment banking and environmental finance to founding Gaia Climate in 2008?
Thank you, Rohit. Thanks for having me over. What inspired me? I think I've always been passionate about environmental sustainability, but it became personal when I saw how vulnerable communities are when impacted by climate change. Working in investment banking and finance, I realized that while there is a strong commitment to reducing emissions, there was always a lack of tailored financial solutions to support industry transformations. I saw this as an opportunity to bridge that gap and accelerate meaningful change. And I wanted to create a company that not only provides innovative financial mechanisms, but also empowers organizations to adopt sustainable practices that might otherwise seem out of reach. And starting my company, Gaia Climate, has been both challenging and rewarding, but I'm inspired every day by the tangible outcomes we're achieving.
Great. So can you share key milestones in Gaia Climate's evolution since its inception?
There were a few then, I think, key milestones. Of course, it all started with founding vision and some initial steps. When we first started, our goal was to develop carbon credits that could make climate-friendly projects more bankable. And our first milestone was securing our initial partnerships, and especially the investors of climate mitigation technologies who also shared this vision. And with some early success and proof of concept based on early achievement of our first carbon credit projects, it demonstrated that our model worked and could deliver measurable environmental and financial results. And of course, then came the scaling and expanding our offerings. Demand grew, we expanded our services. A significant milestone was developing new financing products tailored for various industries like renewable energy and energy efficiency in manufacturing. And of course, followed by recognition and industry partnerships, because when there's more recognition, there's more potential for partnerships, and gaining recognition in this field has been both humbling, but also very motivating. So we established partnerships with key industry players and received acknowledgement through awards. But these milestones all together, we are very proud to have financed projects that have resulted in tangible reduction in carbon emissions across sectors and countries. And we look forward because most recently we have been exploring innovative technologies and frameworks to scale our impact further. We are particularly keen on working in nature-based solutions, for instance, and our journey continues, but it's a very, very new field. It's very wide and it's very multidisciplinary, multifaceted. So the journey seems to continue forever.
Yeah, significant, insightful. Yeah. Can you discuss a project that significantly influenced your approach to climate finance and risk management?
I think in terms of climate finance, we had a lot of experience in different projects, which actually was sort of like a domino effect for us. So we built experience over and over by working with different industries, from renewable energy to methane removal, nature-based solutions. And every investor, every financing vehicle, like the intermediary banks and other stakeholders, including the communities around the projects, it was sort of a domino effect for us. Every project taught us to do something better. So there was not a single experience in that sense. But in terms of risk management, we have worked with industrial organizations closely and also multilateral development banks. And this gave us a much better understanding of the investor side and the risks and how they're managed. And I think the most important experience was when we learned from an investment bank, an international investment bank, how to actually change flip the coin, because it's a duality, right? It's both risk and opportunity. But then they actually taught us how we can actually flip the coin and then look at the opportunities from a different perspective and work with the same client in the same environment, but just convert everything to a different discourse.
Awesome. So, how did your involvement with international organizations like the World Bank and HSBC shape your professional perspective?
Working with organizations, international organizations, definitely gave me a global perspective on climate finance and sustainable development. These experiences introduced me to diverse approaches to finance, and from innovative funding mechanisms to comprehensive risk assessment practices. I learned how critical it is to adapt these approaches to the unique economic and social and environmental context of different regions. In both organizations, I saw first-hand collaboration with governments, private sector stakeholders, NGOs, which is essential to success in climate finance. And these partnerships built the momentum needed to drive systematic change, a principle I have carried forward into my own company. And international organizations, of course, place a strong emphasis on measurable impact and accountability, values that also shaped my own approach in our company. And working with the World Bank, for instance, reinforced my commitment to tracking outcomes, ensuring the financial investments that they should translate into meaningful environmental and social benefits. And overall, these experiences really solidified my belief in a long-term strategic approach to climate finance, not only climate finance, but in any business in general. And they taught me the importance of not only immediate action, but also creating sustainable mechanisms that can support climate resilience and adaptation over decades.
So, what core principles guide Gaia climate strategies in assisting clients towards net zero?
Yeah, I think we have maybe 4 principles that really navigate us during our, through our day-to-day business. But the most important part is always scientific integrity and data-driven decision-making. We really prioritize scientific integrity in all our strategies. And this principle also ensures that our clients' net zero pathways are grounded in achievable, evidence-based targets rather than superficial goals. And on the investment side of these climate mitigation technologies, we want to make sure that our estimations of reduction and removal are based on scientific integrity. We definitely care about customized client-centric solutions. Every client's journey to net zero is different. Every client's journey in raising finance for their climate mitigation activities is unique. So we believe in tailoring strategies that align with their specific industry, with their own capabilities and challenges. By understanding each client's operations deeply, we create practical and customized solutions. And that also should be based on long-term viability and resilience, coupled with, collaboration and knowledge sharing. Collaboration is key in our industry. There are just many stakeholders. There's, of course, always a client, but there's just a few stakeholders key to decision-making and implementation. And we encourage our clients to engage with stakeholders across their supply chain, industry, promoting shared learning and best practices. And this actually is really needed to accelerate progress, to foster a supportive environment for sustainable change.
Yeah. How do you ensure that your clients not only mitigate climate risk but also capitalize on opportunities in the low carbon economy?
Um, just to ensure that our clients understand the duality that I just mentioned, is it seems like risk, but if you change your perspective, opportunities arise, and that requires proactive risk assessment and mapping of those potential opportunities. So we begin by conducting a thorough assessment of climate risks and low carbon opportunities specific to their sector. And this approach allows us to identify areas where they can mitigate risks. Then we integrate sustainability with core business strategy. That's really essential because by aligning their goals, climate mitigation goals, and especially if there's a tangible, straightforward net zero goal, it's really important that we align with operational and financial objectives, and to make sure that they're better positioned to leverage competitive advantages such as increased efficiency, improved brand reputation, and enhanced customer loyalty. And innovative product and market development is really also a crucial part of this journey. We help them our team helps from different angles, from technical, financial, and technology angle, help the clients explore ways to innovate and create new products. And while doing that, we want to make sure that actually they see the potential in accessing green financing and incentives. That could be government incentives, that could be market incentives, and other funding sources that make it financially viable to pursue those low carbon projects. For instance, we work to make net zero goals financially accessible based on best available technologies. By exploring innovative financing mechanisms, we help clients invest in sustainability initiatives without compromising their financial health and ensuring that net zero remains an attainable goal for businesses of all sizes.
So, what were the major challenges you faced while developing carbon assets for over 100 emission reduction projects that you had done?
The process in different areas, it was very complex, of course, and navigating complex regulatory frameworks is really one of the major challenges to manage the varying regulatory requirements across countries and certification bodies. Each region and standard has unique compliance protocols, which required us to adapt our approaches for each project to ensure alignment and successful certification. And of course, we need to ensure data accuracy and integrity because this is really important for a healthy, robust underwriting process. And we invested in significant sources in quality assurance to ensure credible and verifiable outcomes. Developing carbon assets can be capital intensive, so financial viability is really very, very important. And especially in the early stages, securing, finding, and demonstrating financial viability to investors was often challenging, particularly for projects in emerging markets or those with longer payback periods. Hence, we focused on innovative financing mechanisms and carbon credits with innovative approaches like forward agreements, offtakes, to make these projects more attractive to investors. And then, of course, balancing short-term and long-term impact to achieve both immediate emission reductions and long-term sustainability was often a delicate balance. Some projects offered quick wins but limited scalability, while others require substantial upfront investments for future benefits. So balancing short and long-term impact is really delicate, and it's also a challenge, which we managed to overcome over time. And adapting to evolving standards and market dynamics is last but not least, which is really very, very important. It's a very dynamic business. It is multifaceted, multidisciplinary. It's continuously evolving. The carbon markets are continuously evolving. With changes in certification standards and market dynamics, and staying agile and adapting to those shifts required ongoing learning and strategic adjustments to ensure that projects met the latest requirements and were positioned to succeed in an evolving landscape.
Awesome. So, how did you navigate the complexities of climate finance advisory in its early stages?
Uh, I think in the early stage, investing in a foundation of knowledge and expertise was very crucial, and it was very important, and it was the right decision. So we invested in the early days, building a strong foundation by staying informed on evolving policies, following the market mechanisms closely, understanding best practices, growing from both environmental science and finance to bridge the knowledge gap. And of course, establishing credibility is very important. Uh, when we started the business, climate finance was still gaining recognition as a crucial component of sustainability. So establishing credibility was really essential. We worked hard to demonstrate the value of climate finance to early stakeholders, but also certifying bodies and our audience, who was really closely watching what we have been doing. And then with few templates to follow, we had to innovate other financing mechanisms that would make climate projects financially viable. This meant designing tailored financial products like green bonds and collaborating closely with investors and development banks to create solutions which met both environmental and financial goals. There was always skepticism. We had to raise awareness continuously. We dedicated time to educating clients, investors, policymakers on the potential of climate finance to drive both impact and returns, which should be reinforced by developing partnerships and multi-stakeholder collaborations, NGOs, governments, and international organizations. And of course, the lack of standardized policies, especially at the beginning, and fluctuating market conditions presented significant challenges. We had to overcome that with a very flexible approach, anticipating regulatory changes, standard changes, methodology changes continuously, but to remain resilient and compliant as the climate finance landscape evolved.
So, what advice would you offer to individuals aiming to make a meaningful impact in climate finance and sustainability energy?
I think if I had to say three things, it would be knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. It should be a strong knowledge base. Immerse yourself in the fundamentals of both finance and climate science. It is engineering, it is science, it is finance. So it needs to be a good harmony of all these fields. And understanding how these areas intersect is crucial for developing solutions that are financially sound and environmentally impactful. And we need to focus on practical experience, because scientific data is great, knowledge on paper is great, but we need to seek out hands-on experience in climate finance projects. I think we need to be ready to innovate and adapt, be agile. It's an evolving field. You need to be flexible, you need to be innovative, and you need to be open to experimenting by taking risks with new approaches and technologies. And some of the solutions may have worked yesterday in another field, in another business, but might need adjustments for a different country, for a different project. So we need to adapt continuously. Based on a collaborative mindset, and because it's a cross-sector collaboration, so that mindset needs to be there all the time. But like every startup, like every new business, stay mission-driven and resilient, focus, be optimistic. It's really very important. That's the most important medicine, I think, being an optimist. While staying realist, while understanding the challenges and creating solutions, just stay mission-driven and resilient. And I think the success will follow eventually.
Oh, amazing. So, how can organizations effectively integrate climate risk management into their business models?
It all starts with vision. The organizations should have a strong vision and dedication, but then a good understanding of the risk and how actually it's going to pay off if they manage that risk today rather than tomorrow. That's very, very important. So in order to effectively integrate, I think half knowledge is very important, like what your organization is, where your organization is heading to, what your strategy is, what your goals are. And then there is this greenhouse gases, all kinds of risk, not only from transition of the economies to low carbon, but also adaptation risks, physical changes in your environment. So understanding all these risks from a holistic perspective and harmonizing it with the overall business goals and being realistic of like what their priorities are and where they want to invest first and what would be the best way of scaling in. These are very, very important points.
Very, very good. Very cool. So, coming to the next question, like who have been your mentors or role models, like in the field of climate finance and sustainable energy?
We learned a lot from competition. We watch closely what they have been doing right. We have seen what they have been doing not right and not repeat their mistakes. And we understood where the creativity stopped and where we could contribute, where we could push the field. And I think it's really good to know that, remember that we are not reinventing the wheel. We are bringing a new financial solution. We're bringing a new transformation to the economy. But that has happened in the past. So if you look at the history and learn from the history of economics, especially history of finance, how new tools and mechanisms have been introduced and how the financial industry, macroeconomic structures and microeconomics have evolved around the advancing in commerce and business and different and updated needs of the humanity, it's really very, very important, and that becomes your mentor eventually.
Okay, so what are your aspirations for Gaia Climate in the next decade?
In the next decade, my vision for Gaia Climate is to establish it as the leading one-stop shop for holistic climate advisory, while seamlessly integrating digital technologies and fintech. I aspire to leverage the power of data-driven insights, AI, and machine learning, blockchain to streamline and democratize access to climate finance solutions. And hopefully, through fintech, we aim to build transparent, scalable platforms that make sustainable investment opportunities accessible to everyone, from institutional investors to individuals, like common people in the street, and all stakeholders. And in addition, our digital tools, right now, we are working on some digital tools, will empower clients to monitor, verify, and report on their decarbonization efforts in real time, allowing for data-informed decisions and improved accountability. So by combining cutting-edge technology with comprehensive climate advisory, Gaia Climate will hopefully offer an ecosystem that accelerates progress toward net zero and provides clients with all the resources they need to lead in the low carbon economy.
So, amazing technology, yeah. So we have a lot of AI coming and like blockchain. So there is a lot of changes like going to come. So beyond your professional endeavors, like what activities or hobbies like do you engage in to maintain the balance and inspiration?
I find balance and inspiration through a few deeply personal passions. Creative writing and literature are close to my heart. They allow me to explore ideas and emotions in new ways. And writing especially gives me a creative outlet to reflect on the world and understand who I am really, what we are trying to do. I also find peace in connecting with nature, whether it's through hiking or simply spending time outdoors, as it helps me feel grounded and reminded of the beauty we are working to protect. Additionally, I think I have a strong interest in spirituality, philosophy, and the humanities. which provide me with a broader perspective and sense of purpose. And sense of purpose is really very important in our business. These pursuits feed into my professional life, helping me stay balanced and inspired, and hopefully aligned with my values.
Yeah, okay, okay, yeah. Okay, so thanks a lot. Like it's been amazing and inspiring like conversation on climate change and like the mitigation of the climate risk. And uh, so my audience would love this conversation. And so the purpose behind this like the Planecious leaders is to make aware about the environmental issues and the sustainable development goals that we have, and the issues that we are having. So and we are also learning from this conversations, and so we want to like have a like good community of this Planecious leaders, and like we want to make aware as many as people like understand it. So that's our mission, and that's what we are doing. And within the communication industry, like advertising and communication, like also like we have this different system and processes like where we upgrade our clients like with respect to the environment and like society and the corporate governance. So that's what we do, and this is one of our corporate social as a responsibility that we are doing. So we want to make this conversation like keep going, and in future also like we will have a like different set of communications. So thanks a lot, and thank you
Thank
very much.
you.
Yeah.
What a great
So,
purpose you have. So thank you
yeah.
so much for having me over.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm honored to have you on this particular like Planecious Leaders series.